Not long ago, new kinds of jobs appeared. App-based gig work. Dog walkers, TaskRabbit, DoorDash, and most common, Uber and Lyft drivers. Gig work is paid by the job, and some say not paid enough.
I'm just basically working part-time to pay my bills and survive.
Leftist media say gig workers are exploited.
We're paid as little as $2 a job.
So activists demand politicians do something.
We have a well-crafted solution.
Seattle politicians' a well-crafted solution was to guarantee delivery drivers a $26 minimum wage.
You get the dignity, you get the benefits of what's coming to you.
What could go wrong? After all, companies like Uber, DoorDash make so much money, they can eat the cost without raising prices.
Annual revenues of billions of dollars a year, so I wouldn't assume that prices are going to go up.
But they did.
Getting whipped with new charges on food delivery apps.
Oops.
It was 3 items of, Thai takeout food for $122.
I just deleted the app.
Obviously, when you're increasing cost to businesses, you're going to increase cost to customers. These are very, almost unimaginably complicated markets where the company's main job is actually interfacing between restaurants and delivery workers and customers. And then you have, frankly, usually an economically illiterate city council or mayor who comes in and thinks basically by looking at an industry through reading the daily news, they can appropriately regulate the exact wage.
We want an economy in our city that works for everybody.
2 years later, the data is in, and drivers did not benefit. Why? Supply and demand. To pay drivers more, apps raise prices, so customers order less. DoorDash says it got 1.7 million fewer orders.
Why do you think it's slow in Seattle right now?
Well, it's become slow because of the new law.
Business has plummeted because of Seattle's new food delivery ordinance.
That's what happens when politicians micromanage.
We have a system in America that decides fairness by what the market will bear.
But the politicians don't get it. They say we can fix it, we just have to tinker with it.
The market is actually deciding what someone's job is worth.
Seattle's then city council president realized they'd made a mistake.
I believe that we created a problem and it's our responsibility to fix it.
Good. So they repealed their harmful law? No. She said, we just have to tinker with the numbers.
If we had gotten the minimum pay standard right, we would not see the decline in the revenue.
Give me a break. The conceit of politicians.
Yep, that's it. I appreciate it.
Free enterprise requires businesses to constantly adjust pay and prices to attract both workers and customers. Yet Seattle politicians confidently say the price we pick is the right one.
When you think about it, it's actually just patently absurd on its face.
Dumb as these rules are, the regulators have the power, and they can force this.
You're not going to have any improved well-being for people, and you're not going to have increased wages for those workers.
The same thing happened in New York City.
App-based food delivery workers are getting $19.56 an hour. But with the bump in pay came a reduction in tips.
The decrease in tips and increased competition for jobs offset all of the gains, basically, from that imposed minimum wage.
That upsets New York's new mayor.
Make no mistake, we will have those workers' backs each and every time.
It's this continual whack-a-mole tendency where, yes, the market responds. We need a new regulation to try to prevent that response. They think that the next regulation is somehow going to squelch the greed out of the system, but there's simply no way to do that.
Right. Competition's the only good way to handle that. We asked my mayor and Seattle City Council members, how do you know better than the push and pull of the market? They didn't respond.
A lot of politicians want to believe there's a free lunch or just a fixed pot of money that they can give out to the neediest people in America. The actual effect was not to improve the well-being of any workers, but it was to increase costs for customers and to sabotage one of the most successful businesses in the city.
One that pays people for something they like to do.
We got one more last pickup in Margaritaville. Let's go pick up that order. We're live here in New York City. Look at that.
Thanks for watching this video. To make sure you get our next one, subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Okay, here we go. So we have a bunch of people who just keep making the same mistakes again and again. Now remember, the Constitution is clear. The job opportunity for temporary public servants is to what? Uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the United States is very clear about something. The reason we made the Republic is to what? Stimulate. In order to what? Promote the general financial wellness and series of opportunities of fair playing grounds and level playing grounds and many types of fair new ideas to be able to do things. And here are people that are thinking. The new creative thoughts are this: we're going to make all of these advocates, all of these unions completely obsolete because there's no longer a need for these people to have jobs. That's standing up boldly and saying, you're all out.
Is this your car insurance premium? This, even this? They don't want us to know that there's an easy way to lower your car insurance costs. What you do is you go to simplify.com and it takes 2 minutes to enter details about your car. The system
So I was in our area here, and I saw this robot here that we're about to show you.
What did you think it was?
Well, I was waiting to see a guy with a remote control like this is his little toy or something.
Yeah.
The robot had a mind of its own. It's just cruising Market Street.
And now you know why.
And now I know why. We're about to find out more.
Not just any robot. That, Jason, was a delivery robot, and they're taking over food orders in the city. Our Chris O'Connell, well, he went to check out the robot for himself.
Whether it's a taco, a cheesesteak, or Chinese delivery, if you order food in Center City, one of these just may show up at your door. Wow, by the looks, the stairs, and the smartphones out, you knew something was buzzing around Center City today. The buzz of robots.
It was weird because it was rolling down the street by itself.
The lunch rush at the High-Low Taco Company on Walnut Street got a little busier today. We were there when they loaded up their very first Uber Eats taco delivery by robot. It's one of a dozen restaurants in Center City, Chinatown, and Old City signed up to be pilot restaurants for autonomous delivery.
I think more ability to deliver food is better for us. I think certainly right now it just started raining, and we see that all the time. When it rains, we have a higher demand for takeout and delivery, but we also have fewer drivers.
The option for an Uber Eats robot delivery is available from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Customers can choose to have an order delivered by one of these and track it in real time. Designed by Avride, the robots use LiDAR technology sensors and cameras to get around about 5 miles an hour. The best part, if the robot delivers, no tipping.
It's taken away a lot of jobs, and that's the downside to it. There are a lot of people who are looking for work.
Although most seemed intrigued with the new technology, many are skeptical.
I don't want them to get, well, they're not going to be damaged, hopefully, but I think people are going to try them. And they want to be like, what the hell is this?
I don't know. This is Philly, man. When I saw it, I told my wife, and I was like, man, I don't know how it's going to go.
Right now, the autonomous deliveries are only available in the Center City area, but if successful, Uber expects more restaurants to sign on and an expanded delivery zone in the coming months. In Chinatown, Chris O'Connell, Fox 29 News.
It was a novel concept. Nobody believed it at start because it was so crazy. We somehow pushed the boundary.
Uber Eats launched its new autonomous delivery service in Philadelphia today, which means a robot could soon be showing up at your doorstep
with your food order.
Action News reporter Chad Pradelli got a demo of how it works in this week's Driving into the Future.
Uber Eats calls the robots the future of delivery. Contactless service is meant to streamline your order, getting it from the restaurant to your door in a matter of minutes. At Carter's Cheesesteaks in Chinatown, they're waiting for the first delivery of the day. Carter's is one of more than a dozen spots partnering with Uber Eats for autonomous delivery.
We're starting initially with a smaller group of restaurants, and then we're going to continue to add to that.
Megan Jensen is with Uber. She says autonomous delivery just makes sense in urban environments like Philly.
Sometimes traffic and congestion can be a problem. Parking can be difficult. And so these sidewalk robots, provide nice relief for parking pressures, congestion, and things like that.
The robots are run through the autonomous vehicle developer AV Ride. They operate by satellites connected to the Uber Eats platform. Think how a GPS operates in your car. Sensors help navigate the busy sidewalks away from pedestrians and cars.
It has a LiDAR at the top that's almost like the robot's brain in a sense. And it kind of works together with other sensors on the robot's radar, and then also cameras that allow the robot to really sense and see the world around it.
The robots run on lithium batteries with roughly 12 hours of life per charge. Uber Eats says customers only need to opt into autonomous delivery. Robots do the rest.
So you're able to see it get to the restaurant, picking up your order, and then also watch it navigate to you as well.
You'll be notified when the delivery is at the door. You then scan your phone for the insulated compartment to unlock. It also comes with this perk.
You don't tip the robot, so any tip that is added won't be charged.
And right now the robots only deliver in Center City and the area south of Race, north of Spruce, east of 18th.
Next time you order from Uber Eats, you may have your food delivered by a robot.
So the company is bringing this new technology to the East Coast for the very first time. Fox 6's Antoine Lewis gives us a close-up look at how exactly it works.
Food delivery is now firmly in the 21st century. Uber Eats customers in Jersey City can still choose to have a robot deliver their food.
We really match with what's going to be best for the customer experience, whether that's a robot.
You can find them swerving on the sidewalk in different parts of Miami and Fort Lauderdale. These AI-operated, self-driving delivery robots have become quite the topic of conversation for people working and living in those areas. But how do they work? How do they know where to go? And how do people really feel about them? CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister joins us from Brickell tonight and answers all those questions.
Serve Robotics deployed its first fleet of 5 robots in the city of Miami back in February, and now there are hundreds of them roaming the streets and the sidewalks.
They're the delivery drivers who don't say much.
All right, what you're seeing right there is quite possibly the very robot that's going to be delivering your future lunch or dinner. I'm Kurt the Cyber Guy. Follow me at cyberguy.com. See why so many people get my newsletter for free. All right, think about this. There are over 31 million of us using Uber Eats app every month in the U.S., according to that company. Well, that's a massive network, and it's getting a serious tech upgrade. Uber Eats is rolling out these AV Ride autonomous robots in cities like Jersey City, Austin, and in Dallas. They're packed with a sophisticated sensor suite. We're talking LiDAR, cameras, GPS.
Jamie look good, baby.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
Live at 5, the streets of Atlanta getting more crowded, but not with people or cars. New robots starting to roam the city streets, delivering takeout orders to your door. Atlanta News first reporter Joshua Skinner has the latest from Midtown.
This here is my new friend Darcy, and depending on where you live in Atlanta, it could soon be delivering you food. Uber is moving into the
He's waiting for the green light.
So the tires are getting bigger and bigger all the time on these devices, and they're building more and more. And the bottom line about all of this right now is very simple. This is the long-term mentioning of, well, automation, robotics, and AI overtaking many industry areas. It's perfectly normal. This is a technology expansion. Yet we have a very serious problem. The serious problem is that our forefathers laid out the winning type of, well, economics that, by the way, were allowed by law. What's allowed? See, no taxes, effectively, except for emergency taxes for war or an emergency national disaster. Now, these type of items have parties coming in with new types of European instrument governance that are illegal. They diabolically oppose the Constitution of the United States, and they are not committed to any form of actual stimulus and new creation of hard assets, which is the primary item for what our entire country is based upon. Build new assets, we have more solidity. More solidity means more justification to print more currency. More currency printed means more goods can be purchased from people and sold worldwide, converted into coin, copper, silver, gold. Now, here we have the big item. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, Marxism, communism, and socialism now has a track record worldwide of always ending badly. And more than 300 million people are dead connected to this false series of basically philosophies that were never true philosophies. They were always RICO mechanisms created intentionally, mostly by the Royal German Empire and their syndicate partners. Yet, as we fought two great wars with the Royal German Empire, they seemingly have faded away now, but their child creations have lived on, creating emergency situation after emergency situation worldwide. And the death toll is so staggering at this point, it's beyond being just mind-boggling. So these areas are very actionable, and I want to talk up next on the next coming episode of why these things mathematically in the new mass model, economic modeling, always show that these systems never work. They can't work. They're not mathematically viable. And we have parties who have been opposing diabolically this type of building of mass model accountability. Thus, here we have economic criminology discovering something, a term that was invented by our forefathers prior to the Constitution of the United States even invented. Let's restate that again. Prior to the Constitution being invented, our forefathers created a term. They did a series of tactical table experiments repeatedly. These were parts of the negotiations of what we had to build in order to have our new nation. Among these items that were of key importance that they noticed and they worked with was an understanding that they had to ban any form of mass economic sabotage. That's right, mass economic sabotage. Invented prior to the Constitution, but now this is going to be coming as one of the latest and permanent word phrase understandings with permanent mathematical formula cogsets to continuously be added tooling. Except the only problem with it is it justifies and promotes colonial capitalism being constitutionalized. That's right, colonial constitutional capitalism is what's validated by these math formulas. Thus, all these other parties coming in with taxation scams are all in danger constantly of involving themselves in intentionally creating mass genocide situations, mass economic sabotage. And our forefathers had a prescription for this. It's illegal. Yes, it's against the law, and it's considered as though treason, because all of the references to those types of thinking always came mostly from Europe, not from the United States. They came from Europe. Ergo, foreign instrument development governance items, usually for, well, occupational governance, which we wanted nothing to do with, because we're the investors. We demand our stock. We're getting our stock, our permanent access to the treasury and lands. We're going to do the deal. Deal after deal after deal after deal. But it would seem that we have these people that are bowing their neck and demanding to continuously destroy the Constitution of the United States, which means what? They're not loyal. Well, if they're not loyal, then they're not allowed to run for office. This is the law. Up next, more.